mentioned that in that situation where in the past where we probably would have panicked, we maintained our composure.
Larry, what's been the biggest difference from what you've seen in this team now to at the end of the season when you guys lost 6 in a row and it seemed like things just weren't working out at that point?
Well, you know, at that stretch towards the end of the regular season, we were, we were already in a situation of having the fifth spot locked up, and I did make the decision to rest players and limit minutes, and going into the playoffs, one of my concerns was, will we be able to flip that switch back on? And I knew that in the past, I've seen this team respond in that situation where they would flip the switch. And I was hoping that would be the case. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think going down the stretch of the playoffs that you go into the playoffs without momentum. And I certainly want to move into the playoffs, you know, hopefully with a couple of wins that'll give us some momentum and leave a good taste in our mouths. But we had to make the decision toward the end of sitting guys. We had some guys banged up. I had to limit minutes because I did not want to go into the playoffs with guys limping into the playoffs. The one thing that I learned from that experience is the fact that, you know, a team that has the ability to turn it on and turn it off, as I mentioned, I'm not a fan of it, but I have seen this team do that. And I was very confident that was going to be the case in this series. Playing Orlando in the regular season after what happened last year, I thought our guys felt good about going into the series against this team. You know, we know that the playoffs is a totally different animal, and we know that we did not have home court advantage, but yet we felt good about going into the series, particularly starting on the road. We've had some very impressive wins on the road this year, and going down there for the first game, there was not a fear whatsoever, and you can see that our guys were bubbling with confidence. And I'm just excited at the fact that now, with what happened during the regular season, towards the end of the regular season, this team has shown that they can respond to adversity. And the way we finished the regular season was not you know, it wasn't anything that was going to shatter our confidence. But again, when you finish the regular season, you like to go into it with a little momentum. We did not, but yet we did respond to first game of the playoffs, and I thought we did a phenomenal job in the second game. You know, we did a poor job on the offensive board, gave up 20 offensive rebounds. They were plus 18 at the free throw line. Yet with 2 minutes to go in the game, we were only down 2 points. So that was very, very encouraging, and that, you know, that was a positive, I thought. Even though we lost the game, I thought it was a tremendous positive going into Game 3, and our players have responded to it.
Larry, you know, you played in an era where big men tried to stay on their feet when they played defense, and I'm curious to know what you think about the idea that the Hawks flock too much.
I mean, I don't see it that way. I watch a lot of basketball. I look at how games are called. Sometimes, you know, you get the whistle. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes teams play very aggressive in how they try to get through screens. I think Orlando is one of those teams. My players have been instructed to hold their screens, to make sure that they plant, and if they try to run through the screen, it's a charge. It's just that plain and simple. And we don't try to do anything that's you know, out of the ordinary. We try to play just solid basketball. I heard that comment, and I was very surprised about that comment. But we won't let any comments like that shatter our confidence on how we're going to play. We're going to continue to go and set screens. If they choose to go through the screen, then it's a charge. It's that plain and simple. But we won't change our style of playing.
And speaking of the big men, kind of piggyback on that, talk about Hilton Armstrong. Now, he got some solid minutes against the White where he hadn't played a whole lot before.
Hilton done a great job. He done a phenomenal job. Again, when you're trying to defend the White, you're not going to stop him. You know, he's just too massive. He's just too powerful. He's just too talented. You just try to make it tough for him. I thought Hilton tried to do that. He scored on Hilton. We gave up some hard fouls. Hilton did his job. We are very excited at the fact that Here's a guy who has not played much, but yet he was called in to, to service, with no Zaza, and I thought he responded very, very well. I thought Josh Powell did a great job as well, trying to battle Dwight as well. We know that we're not capable of stopping this guy, but what we just try to do is we just try to make it tough for him, and we just try to make him earn everything.
LD, we've seen the same kind of a bounce from Jamal in these postseason that we saw last season. Do you think it could be in the postseason is more geared towards his game, just because when things break down and it becomes one-on-one, he's so good at that?
Well, he has that ability to break the defense down, particularly when you get in a little bit of a rut. When I bring him into the game, whether we're playing well or whether we're not, I know that he is capable of kind of getting some things generated. Playoff time, I know that is really his time. I can see his eyes light up. Sometimes he just kind of, he gets it going a little bit too fast, and he takes a few ill-advised shots. But that's those shots I want Jamal taking because that's who he is, and I don't ever want to put him in a situation where he's thinking about if it's a good shot, if it's a bad shot. This guy is he's an assassin offensively. He can make the tough shot, he can break the defense down, and he has the ability to create for others. But he has really done a phenomenal job, in these first four games. I think he is into a really good rhythm, and you can see that he feels good. He's confident about what he's doing, and I'm just going to try to keep him in that attack mode as much as I can.
Last question.
Coach, talk about what you've been able to do on the perimeter-wise. They were 2 for 23 from the three-point line, where they had been a good perimeter shooting team all throughout the season.
Well, we've just made a conscious effort of defending the three-point line. We know that this team can really get going. If you leave their three-point shooters open, and going into this series, that was a point of emphasis. Obviously, we have to do a good job with Dwight, but we also had to do a good job in defending the three-point line. And we know that they have guys that can get it going, and I give all the credit to my guys of how they've defended the three-point line. Even when they've had good looks, we've made conscious efforts of getting out there and getting a hand up. And I just think that has been probably the key in this series. In fact, that Dwight is getting touches, Dwight is scoring, and tonight Gilbert Arenas comes off the bench, and I think he scored 20. But you take a look at every stat sheet thus far in all 4 games, you see that we have done a phenomenal job in defending a three. And I think anytime you play Orlando that has a guy like Dwight, in most cases, commands a double team, and that leaves these other guys open. But we've made the commitment that we're going to defend Dwight the way we defend him. But yet we're not going to give these other guys any open looks. We're going to make a conscious effort of defending them at the three, forcing them to make plays when we do close them out at the three.
Thanks, Coach.